It is a significant opening.
This could be the offset chamber.
Another anomaly, it's this one in the northern tip of the swamp.
Could be the Jack Adams box.
The box.
Jack approached your father and said, hey, I've got a metal target.
Oak Island's legendary money pit is finally showing its true colors, and those colors are metallic. New evidence from Season 13 points to an astonishing silver discovery deep underground. This is not some surface find or a lucky coin dropped in the dirt. These are scientific results suggesting a massive amount of precious metal is sitting exactly where the legend claimed it would be. Rick Lagina is now chasing a new verified money pit, expanding the search area to locations that have never been explored before. Every new drill hole brings the team closer to total confirmation. Drilling into history.
I know that's going to be a little sloppy down there, but
I'll try and stand on the stones.
we've got a ongoing puzzle in Smith's Cove, and if there's anything to be found, it's at the end of that slipway. Well, hopefully we'll find it.
The search for treasure on Oak Island has always been a game of inches, but recent developments in the money pit have changed the scale of the entire operation. For years, the team led by Rick Lagina has focused on the idea that a massive vault of wealth was hidden deep underground. However, the latest data suggests the truth is significantly more complex. During the most recent drilling season, the team utilized advanced water testing and soil analysis to look for precious metals. What they found was not just a trace of gold or silver, but a consistent chemical signature that indicates a massive deposit. This is no longer a theory. The numbers show that silver is present in the groundwater at levels that do not occur naturally. This discovery has led the team to believe they are looking at a primary money pit, or a massive offset chamber that was missed by searchers for over 2 centuries. This silver signature appeared in a zone that the team refers to as the garden shaft and the surrounding areas. For a long time, the public thought the money pit was a single hole, but the data now points to a cluster of activity. The island's geology is notoriously difficult to navigate. The team had to drill through layers of clay and limestone to reach these depths, often encountering the famous flood tunnels that have stopped so many previous attempts. The silver is not just floating in the water. It is concentrated in specific areas that suggest it is leaching from a physical source. This could be a chest, a crate, or even a large room filled with silver bars. The excitement in the war room is higher than it has ever been because science is finally validating the folklore. One of the most overlooked aspects of this recent find is how it aligns with the testing their metal and the shining episodes of Season 13. In these segments, the team used high-tech scanning to look for voids and metallic objects. They discovered what looks like a possible money pit, a location that might have been used as a decoy or a backup storage site. This would explain why so many previous searchers came up empty-handed. They were looking in the right general area, but the builders were more strategic than anyone gave them credit for. The engineered complexity of the island suggests that whoever buried this treasure had a background in military engineering or mining. This was not just pirates digging a hole, it was a massive, organized effort. Many observers are confused about why it has taken 13 seasons to reach this point. The money pit area is a labyrinth of old searcher shafts and collapsed tunnels. Finding the original location is like trying to find a needle in a haystack where the haystack has been moved 50 times. But with the latest silver results, the search has narrowed down significantly. The team is no longer guessing where to drill. They are following the chemical trail of the treasure itself. This is a vital detail because it removes emotion from the search and replaces it with hard data. The team is now focusing their heavy machinery on these high-probability zones, hoping to make a physical recovery that will end the mystery once and for all. The most striking part is that this discovery does not just point to silver. It suggests a level of permanence and protection that matches the most ambitious theories about the island. If there is enough silver to taint the groundwater for centuries, the scale of wealth must be enormous. This discovery has breathed new life into the project and silenced many of the skeptics who thought the island was just a natural sinkhole. While gold often dominates the conversation, a massive room of silver would be one of the greatest archaeological finds in history. The implications for our understanding of colonial and medieval history would be fundamentally altered. This silver signature is only the start of a much older story. Historical puzzle pieces.
Holy
Shamoly, all right.
it's a cross.
That's a cross.
The silver in the money pit area is impressive, but it does not exist in a vacuum. It connects to a long chain of artifacts that have been pulled from the island over the years, many of which point directly to Europe. For starters, nobody expected to find a lead cross in Smith's Cove that dates back to the 1300s. This artifact, known as the lead cross, is arguably one of the most important clues ever found on the island. Testing showed that the lead came from a mine in southern France that was active during the time of the Knights Templar. This is not a coincidence. It links the island to a specific group of people with the wealth and the engineering knowledge to execute a massive hiding operation. The cross is not the only European link. The team has found pieces of parchment deep in the money pit that contain traces of iron gall ink. This type of ink was commonly used by scholars and officials in the 1400s and 1500s. Finding a tiny scrap of paper at a depth of 160 feet is remarkable. It suggests that someone was documenting what was being buried, or perhaps the treasure includes ancient archives or religious texts. The water on the island is highly acidic and should have destroyed any paper long ago. The fact that it survived suggests it was protected in a waterproof container, such as a lead-lined chest or a stone vault. There are still many theories about who exactly was on the island before the 1795 discovery. Some believe it was the French military, while others point to the British or even the Spanish. But the medieval artifacts like the lead cross and ancient coins suggest an even earlier presence. The axis of medieval discovery in Lot 8 further supports this. The team found stone structures and tools that do not fit the timeline of local farmers or early settlers. These items suggest that a large-scale construction project was underway centuries before the money pit was officially found. This changes the narrative from a local mystery to an international historical event. The latest discoveries are confirming that Oak Island was a hub of activity long before modern history books suggest. The team has recovered high-quality pottery, hand-forged nails, and even bits of jewelry that have been dated to the 14th and 15th centuries. These are not items you would find in a simple fishing camp. They are possessions belonging to people of status and wealth. A lot of people are confused about how these items could end up on a remote island in Nova Scotia, but the evidence is undeniable. The island was chosen for a reason, likely its natural deep-water harbor and its distance from established colonies. The team also found a strange stone road that looks like it was built to haul heavy loads from the shore to the money pit. This road is made of large, flat stones that were carefully laid out. It is not a natural formation. This engineered feature suggests that whatever was being moved was too heavy for horses or carts on soft ground. It required a solid foundation. When you combine the silver traces with the stone road and the medieval artifacts, a picture starts to form. Someone brought something incredibly heavy and valuable to this island, built a massive infrastructure to hide it, and then left it behind. The latest discovery is the most recent piece of a puzzle that has been coming together for years. These medieval clues point to a timeline that was not expected to be found. Smith's Cove Secrets.
Wow. This could be silver, mate. That's what it looks like. I don't know if there's some kind of design on it or whether my eyes are playing tricks on me.
One of the most impressive parts of the Oak Island mystery is the flood tunnel system. For over 200 years, searchers have been thwarted by water that rushes into any hole they dig. The latest research in Smith's Cove and Lot 8 has finally shed light on how this system works. The team discovered what they call French drains, which are essentially man-made channels filled with rocks and coconut fiber. These drains were designed to act like a giant sponge, pulling water from the ocean and funneling it directly into the money pit. It is an ingenious piece of engineering that shows the builders were experts in hydraulics. The scale of these works is often underestimated. The drains at Smith's Cove are not just small pipes. They are part of a massive fan-shaped array that covers a large portion of the beach. When the tide comes in, the pressure forces water through these channels and into a main trunk line that leads to the treasure shaft. This system ensures that anyone who tries to dig will be met with an endless supply of seawater. It is a lethal trap that has cost several lives over the years. The team has recently found evidence that these drains were deliberately clogged by previous searchers, yet they still function. This speaks to the incredible durability of the original construction. The builders used materials like coconut fiber, which is not native to North America. Thousands of pounds of this fiber were found under the beach, acting as a filter to keep the drains from getting filled with sand. This fiber has been carbon dated to hundreds of years ago, long before the discovery of the Money Pit. This proves the island was modified on a massive scale. You do not bring boatloads of coconut fiber from the Caribbean just for a small project. You do it for a multi-million-dollar construction job. The engineering at Smith's Cove is one of the strongest arguments for the reality of the treasure. The latest discoveries in Lot 8 have revealed even more of these engineered features. The team found stone walls and markers that seem to point toward the Money Pit. These are not random piles of rocks. They are carefully constructed structures that follow a specific geometric pattern. Some researchers believe these markers are part of a larger map that uses the stars or the landscape to pinpoint the treasure's location. The complexity of these works suggests that the treasure was not just buried, it was installed into the island. It is a difficult process to track because the island has changed so much over the years due to erosion and previous searcher activity. The shoreline defense is directly related to the silver discovery. If you go to the trouble of building a massive, self-resetting water trap, you must be hiding something of immense value. You do not build a flood tunnel for a few bags of silver coins. You build it for a king's ransom or a religious relic. Engineering is the confirmation that the treasure story is not just a legend. It is a physical reality that has been protected by one of the most clever security systems ever built. The team is now looking for ways to bypass these tunnels once and for all, using massive steel caissons to seal off the water. Every tunnel was designed with a specific, deadly purpose in mind. Real history confirmed.
That signal, Pete, it's actually over this big log.
When we look at all the evidence, the latest silver discovery feels like the final proof for the skeptics. It is no longer just one coin or one button. We have a consistent signature of precious metal, ancient artifacts from Europe, and a massive engineered system designed to protect it all. While the treasure is not yet in the team's hands, the latest discovery has confirmed its existence in a scientific sense. The confirmation is not about holding a gold bar. It is about proving that the island's central mystery is based on a real, historical event. The myth has become a fact. The island was the site of a massive secret operation centuries ago. Whether it was the Templars, the French, or a group we have not even identified yet, they left behind a trail of evidence that we are finally following to the end. The silver results in the Money Pit suggest that the team is closer than ever to the actual deposit. They have narrowed the search area from a whole island down to a few square feet. Science and history are finally aligning. While some are frustrated that a big reveal has not happened on television yet, these operations take time when dealing with 150 feet of unstable earth and water. The depth of the search requires patience. The team is currently using massive oscillators to drive 10-foot wide steel casings into the ground. This process is slow, expensive, and dangerous, but the silver signature in the water acts as a beacon. It tells them exactly where the concentration of wealth is located. This takes the guesswork out of the drilling program. Instead of drilling blind holes across the island, they can now target specific coordinates with surgical precision. The data from Season 13 has provided a roadmap that was missing for 2 centuries. Furthermore, the discovery of silver in the garden shaft area has forced a re-evaluation of the entire site. The garden shaft was originally thought to be a searcher-era structure, but new evidence suggests it may have been built over an original entrance. By excavating this shaft, the team can get a first-hand look at the geology and the man-made structures at depth. This is a far more effective method than just drilling 6-inch holes. They can actually see the wood, the rocks, and the artifacts in their original context. This archaeological approach is what finally cracked the case. Silver traces confirm the presence of treasure, yet the island's true origins are still emerging. To see how ancient artifacts fit this puzzle, subscribe to Bravo Tango for more.